Welcome to F&W Game Club. We are continuing to cover E3, the press conferences, the games on the floor, all this stuff. And the Bethesda press conference happened just a little while ago. We're doing a video of it. There was a lot of filler, also some things that were just not in our wheelhouse. So instead of covering the whole thing, we're going to cover the highlights that are really important to us, so we can give you some good discussion on those. And a good place to start, Chris, is with Wolfenstein 2. That
New
game,
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, it came out swinging too, man. The trailer was a little weird at first. It he was in the hospital and all that, or actually even before that,
Yeah,
it was
the
like
live action stuff.
Right, the girl.
Yeah, with the robot dog.
Yeah, kind of like in an old Yeller style sort of show.
Lassie.
And I mean, it was fun. I don't mind a little bit of joking around, but once it got to the game, which is what you're seeing here.
The game looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and brutal.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, there must be just some sick side of me, but we're coming to a scene here where the Nazi comes into the diner, and I was like, oh, I'm sold. This was the scene. Why was this the scene that sold me? I'm buying the game now.
It's weird and creepy.
Yeah, watching just this Nazi be nice to the woman as she rushes out with her kid, and then he's gonna come drink have some ice cream or a shake or something.
And then he wants to see your papers.
Yeah, Nazis always want to see papers.
I know. What's up with that?
Anyway,
get your own zigzags.
Yeah, now that's kind of where I was sold on the plot, but I'll tell you where I was sold with the gameplay, Chris, was double guns.
Right. You always have to have dual wielding in the second one. That's a rule.
Dual wielding, man. Ever since, GoldenEye, but then definitely in Halo 2, man. Dual wielding will immediately make me fall in love.
I remember reading an article about the Halo 2 development, and one of the developers said, well, yeah, you have to have dual wielding in the second one. That's a rule. And here we are 15 years later.
Still practicing that. And really kind of continuing that Doom feel of fast-paced, visceral action.
Yeah.
When it gets into some of the later scenes where he's just kind of running through hallways and shooting things, oh, man, it was rough.
Yeah, the reveal had a lot of setup.
Yeah.
And then once it got actually into playing, it was just like, wow.
Yeah. Why don't you skip forward, I don't know, a minute or whatever, just a chunk. Get past sort of all this little plot stuff. But there's a lot more plot than I remember. There we go. But yeah, all of this gun action, I was trying to determine while watching is if this is just going to be kind of a straightforward narrative level by level like Wolfenstein usually is, or if it's
a little open world.
A little open worldish, because I don't know, there's something about.
I'd be surprised if they went the Dishonored route.
Yeah. And I like the Dishonored route. I like, not everything needs to be a full-fleshed open world, but I like that to the veneer of open world. That's good.
You feel
enough.
like you're in an open world.
Yeah, as long as you don't look behind the curtain.
Right.
You're convinced. And I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping that it's essentially you get put into small hubs where there's numerous missions to do and some side things you can do and get lost in, and some plot. I'm hoping for that. I don't know if that's really going to be the case, because that's not been the bread and butter of Wolfenstein up until this point. It's been really about
corridor shooter, really a tightly designed run and gun shooting. Oh yes, an axe. Yes. Oh god. Oh, that's brutal. So that's Wolfenstein 2. Super excited for that. Come out on October 27. I think all the things they showed at Bethesda. That was another impressive thing about them, is they said everything's coming out this year that they're showing.
This guy is about to have an acid trip. We won't show it. Let's move on, Chris. We'll look at Skyrim on Switch. I figure we should do it since they talked about it. We were all skeptical that this was really coming because they had announced it way back when, and then it kind of just disappeared. Chris, those were the only two scenes we got to see up close. Everything else is going to be kind of far away. Does it look like the old one or the remake?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's hard to tell because it's been
2011.
6 years. 11/11/11 Skyrim came out.
Yeah.
That's about how long it's been since I played vanilla Skyrim. Right? I mean, I started modding early. So, I don't remember exactly what the original one looks like.
Yeah.
To be honest. I didn't go crazy. I didn't turn myself into the Flash. But I did add texture packs and, better fauna and all those things.
I mean, that's kind of the problem with PC gaming coming to consoles later. If it comes out at the same time, console people don't notice it. It's when I'm playing Witcher, I'm not on my PS4, I'm not thinking about the fact that you on your PC are playing it with all these awesome mods.
I have 8 custom houses on my Skyrim map.
Right.
But wow, is that the end of that? That was fast.
It was short.
Why don't we go ahead and loop it while we talk about it a little bit more? The question I have for you is this necessary? Like, are you like? Is this going to like the whole point?
It's not going to get me to buy a Switch. I'll tell you that.
Right. I mean, obviously, is it on pause? I think you're on pause. Like the whole purpose of bringing Skyrim to Nintendo Switch is to get some PC gamers.
You do get the Link armor. No.
Yeah. Which is probably free from a mod already, but like it's about bringing PC gamers to the Switch, right? Or at least like Bethesda style PC gamers, right? RPG guys.
Yeah.
But will it? I mean, is this really the way you win them? I mean, this is more like, hey, I don't know who this is appealing to.
I think I'd rather remote desktop with my smartphone and play across that.
All right,
I think be a way to do that. Right.
I think we can move on. Let's talk about The Evil Within 2. I didn't play the first one, but the trailer for the second one I thought was pretty sweet. Lots of milk. I don't know. It's either milk or whiteout.
It took so long to get to the whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right?
As I was watching, I was flipping through the file case in my head about like what kind of games under Bethesda have this sort of graphics and setup, and the obvious answer is Evil Within, but I was having a hard time.
I feel like we watched the whole like prologue to the story from the video game in the trailer.
Yeah, and but good style. I mean, that's one thing.
It looks awesome. Yeah, I won't argue with that.
Yeah, it successfully sort of has its own style. It presents its own horror. It's not
a little Resident Evil, a little bit Alan Wake, like you're saying.
Yeah, but it's not relying on the really dark jump scares. Like no,
it's more atmospheric.
It's kind of like American Horror Story, where the horror is in the style.
Yeah,
which I like.
Feel it.
Yeah, you feel the horror.
It's not cheap jumps. Like, yeah.
Right,
I hate cheap scares.
Right, there's dread instead of adrenaline scares.
This is the kind of thing that stays with you after you turn it off.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to take the trash out. Oh, I'll wait till morning.
Yeah, it's like, I think I should do something before I go to sleep because I don't want to dream about this. Yeah, this is really cool. So I think I'll actually be picking up The Evil Within 2. I didn't play the first one. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should go back to it.
It's probably cheap now. Go grab it on sale and play through it real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, creepy. Moving on. Dishonored 2 has a standalone deal. I guess you can't really call it DLC if it's standalone. It feels like it was a DLC, that they were making a standalone product, maybe because Dishonored 2 didn't sell well enough to make it DLC exclusive. But doesn't star Corvo or Emily, but instead
Dodd. It looks like.
Well, right? Dodd is one of them. The woman is Billy.
Yeah.
And if you remember, if you played Dishonored 2, she was the lady who was like the boat captain. She had a lot of like scars and damage to her body, and it looks like they've replaced all of that with electronics. So instead of magic, I guess it's technology.
Well, it's that weird the technology they have in
kind of like it's like if a magical world had a technological revolution, this is what you would get. But like and of course the trailer reveals they're going after the outsider, who's kind of like a god or a demigod of this world. I kind of felt like they gave him a backstory for how he became god in Dishonored 2. I did think it was a very good plot. I don't know. It didn't really work. Do you remember that, Chris?
No, I don't actually.
He was like a sacrifice. Like
no, I thought you were talking about Dodd. I'm sorry.
No, not Dodd. Yeah.
I remember the backstory for the outsider.
Yeah, so long time ago kind of thing. But now Dowd and Billy, I keep wanting to say Emily, Billy are going to be taking out the outsider. Kind of makes me sad, Chris. I like the outsider.
I do too. I mean, he's all right for an emo kid.
Probably the best emo kid there is.
Skyliner and.
But he was like effectively interesting.
Yeah, very mysterious, and you wanted to know more about him. But maybe that's why this would be a good game. Maybe we get to know more about him.
Get to know him before we kill him.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting. It's gonna be if it's sort of like technology Billy versus the magic of the outsider, so it might be a bit tech versus.
But she
magic.
does a teleport thing in this too, so looks like she's got some magic, maybe.
True.
Or maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a technological teleport.
I mean, she is beating up these really big guys, so with magic and electricity
and a robot arm.
Yeah.
Why can't I have a robot arm?
All you got to do is build it yourself, like Luke Skywalker. Just
all right. I'll order an Arduino Quick Kit and get to work.
but better order some more aluminum.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We went over Wolfenstein, Evil Within, Dishonored, Skyrim. There's just a few things we should mention. I want you to leave this. Go ahead, loop it again, because we're just going to talk about a few quick things. VR.
Bethesda's pushing VR hard.
And you know what? It's the first time I'm believing that AAA can come to VR. Resident Evil 7 came to VR. That's obviously a AAA game, but it was like the only one, and it seemed like it was left out in the dust to prove VR on its own for the AAA space. And finally now, Bethesda's really taking VR into their own hands. They're going to have a Doom VR game. I don't know if it's the actual Doom game, just transitioned to... It didn't look like the actual
But the Fallout
Doom game.
VR looks like Fallout.
It's Fallout 4.
Yeah, but in VR.
In VR, yeah. That looks really, really awesome.
Now, can I get Skyrim in VR?
The thing is, those people tend to not want long sitting experiences with the VR, but isn't that like all that Fallout 4 is?
But I mean, this would be the first time someone's done this, right?
Right.
Take a game like Fallout 4 and put like full VR support.
Yeah.
At that level with, a big publisher and studio behind it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a game changer.
It could be. Another quick mention, a couple of quick mentions here. Quake is on the way. They're really trying to push it not only as a new revived Quake game, but as an esport, offering $1 million at the next QuakeCon for the champion of Quake. So
$1 million prize pool. So sign on up if you're really good at Quake.
Chris, question for you: are too many people fighting for the esport mantle? EA
was all over that yesterday, weren't they?
Right, and now we have Quake is going to be all about that. There was another game the other day that we were watching. What was the game that was
on the Microsoft one?
Yeah, I'll never remember it, but
Yeah.
it was another esport style game. There's just esport is everywhere.
It's the buzzword right now.
Yeah, let's get one more loop on that or something else. I don't care. Just mention a few more things. Creation Club was talked about a lot.
Oh yeah, it looks like they're gonna sell the mods for that we've all been downloading for free more or less for years.
Right. So they said like, oh, we're gonna provide millions of mods made both by us, Bethesda, and the mod community.
Yeah,
so,
we gotta look into that a bit more and see if there's like a royalty deal or something. Maybe this is really good for mod makers.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, if it's mod makers are signing up for it to have their stuff sold,
Yeah,
and
this
they
could
get
be
a piece
great
of
for
it.
them. I mean, they deserve it. They put a lot of work into these things.
Yeah, it's both great for them and not great for them, because in one sense it's great for them that they get money for this hard work.
Right.
But at the same time, it kind of also like, I feel like it puts them in a category where like now they're corralled. Like, here's the modders, they're getting paid for selling their stuff instead of getting hired into the company.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like it corrals them a little
It's
bit.
like having a bunch of adjuncts.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Can treat like crap and then just drop them when you don't want them.
Yeah. Lastly, they showed... Well, they didn't show it last. We're just talking about it last. They showed some Morrowind stuff for ESO, Eve, Elder Scrolls Online. I almost said Eve Online. Elder Scrolls Online. And a lot of bears.
Warbears are out now.
Well, I hope this video was good for you guys. It's please like and subscribe if you appreciate it. We're going to continue to cover E3 for the next few days. Lots of great stuff coming. Tomorrow will be Sony and Ubisoft and all kinds of games from the show floor. You see you later.